Hello, everyone. Welcome to UNGIRL episode 10. Today, we are talking about beauty. And we also have a whole big Brady Bunch gathering for this one. So I'm going to just let everybody introduce themselves today. And we do have Emma Braswell coming as well. We're having some technical difficulties. So she's trying to get those worked out on the back end, and hopefully we'll get her back soon.
Yeah.
I'm Rachel. You know me. I host every week. I'm beautiful. I'm wonderful. I'm kind of a girl. And next we have Kennedy.
I'm Kennedy. Y'all know me if you watch the show regularly, but if you don't, I'm one of the hosts around here of Not Safe for Wonks, and I do some other stuff. Hi.
And I'm Leslie. I'm a host of Into the Abyss on Saturday nights, and I jump in and out of different stuff.
I'm Vonté. This is my second time on the stream. I'm an artist in Atlanta, Georgia, previously of Los Angeles. Good to be here.
My name's Ada Powers. I just moved to Atlanta from San Diego about a year ago. I've been a guest a couple times. I'm here. I'm queer.
We love it. We love your queerness. All right, and let's see. Do we have an Emma? Can she hear us?
Hey.
Oh, heck yeah, she can hear us. We did it, everybody.
We did it.
The technology, it worked.
We did it.
Just in time to introduce yourself.
Heck yeah.
Oh, hi. I'm Emma. Of Emma Appropriate Beauty.
Mm-hmm. Emma is a longtime friend of mine, excellent makeup artist, very cool human all around. Vonté is a fabulous, incredible designer. Ada is a great writer. They are all wonderful, beautiful, fabulous friends of mine, and we are so happy to have y'all here today to talk about beauty and our personal experiences with it, and like the good and the bad, and perhaps even the ugly of beauty. Haha, the pun. I wanted to start from a pretty neutral space, which is makeup is freaking expensive. Makeup is expensive. Skincare is expensive. Why? Why is this? Why do they do
Because
this?
we're vain.
But is it just vanity though? I have questions about that. Like, I'm not convinced it's just a vanity thing, and here is why. Like, if you are going to, for example, a job interview, are you more or less likely to wear makeup?
More.
I less.
Depends on the job.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like-
That's true.
Rachel, I only wear makeup when I'm streaming. When I go
I
out,
say, if I'm wearing makeup, I'm selling you something. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this is always true for me specifically. My relationship with makeup, especially on air, if I'm wearing makeup and I'm on air, it's because it increases our ratings. Not that we have ratings, right? But it increases our viewership and people like it. They like, the hot girl that they can look at and be like, wow, she's hot. In fact, actually, one of the requests I get most often from fans is to wear goth makeup again. Because we did an episode where,
Yes.
we did an episode where I was doing a bit about Joe Biden and how they keep treating us like a bunch of angsty teenagers, so fuck it, I'm going to be one. And was wearing goth makeup and yelling, "You're not my dad, Joe Biden." And that specifically, that one throwaway bit joke has turned into one of my most popular moments because apparently I pull off goth real well.
Belongs to the
yeah, I
fans
can see
now.
it. Oh, yeah.
Did anybody else know you in college? You're like,
Wonder why you're really good at that.
I remember.
Well, and it's funny because I went in and out of phases of what kind of aesthetic I personally wanted to present. So as a kid, I was the weird, chunky Jewish kid with frizzy hair. And nobody really talked about me being pretty, for example. No one was like, "Oh, you're such a beautiful little girl." I never got that because I was weird looking. And I hit high school, I hit middle school and rebelled against that by wearing the trip pants and basically trying my hardest to be, you know, a real punk rocker like Avril Lavigne. And
We can only aspire.
Mhm.
yeah, yes. And it was in high school where I really started like assimilating more because I was hanging out with the popular kids. And so I wanted to dress like them and be cool like them. And that's when I started really performing beauty. Like that was the age where I started straightening my hair every day. And every time I went out, if I didn't have a ponytail, I had straightened hair. And I did not stop that trend until like last year or like the year before. Of having like my hair be curly and just letting it exist in its natural state and considering, you know, my natural hair texture to be beautiful. And it's very interesting to me to see the way my personal experience of my own beauty has vacillated so much.
Oh yeah.
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 And so we'll do Kennedy again next. Tell me about your personal relationship with makeup.
Sure. Well, you know, since I was born male, I had to find ways to interact with makeup that were like acceptable. And so that for me started with theater, being like a really big thing from a young age, and just like focusing on that and like just using that as like my main tool of exploration. And then I don't know, I didn't really like start performing beauty a lot until like college. So in high school, like I would do a lot of theater and do a lot of theater makeup and stuff, but like I didn't really like, I was a very drab dresser in high school, to be honest. Like I was kind of like sad butch vibes, khaki pants and flannel, and just like really like not a good look. And I didn't think of myself as attractive, especially because of like the way in which I grew up and things, and just comparing myself to other people and all kinds of stuff. And then in college I just started to find myself more attractive, like be able to like accept that, like, you know, people could find me attractive, like that was possible. And like, I don't know, ever since then, I've been kind of exploring more, and makeup's definitely been a big part of just like feeling good about myself.
Leslie, what about you?
I've had a love-hate weird relationship with makeup forever. Because I was always a real girly girl, but I wasn't allowed to be a girly girl in my house. Like my parents were really weird, and I think my mother died pissed off that I wasn't a butch lesbian. I don't exactly know how that
Just died mad about it.
Yeah, seriously, she died pissed off.
Wild.
So I've always like, I used to have to sneak makeup, which was weird for me. And then when I stopped having to sneak it, you know, I'm also a lot older than all you guys. So, you know, I grew up, I was a young adult in the 80s. So when the glam bands and the glam rockers, and we used to say that, you know, we used to put on, we used to dress like hookers to go out with guys that wore more makeup than we did.
I mean, honestly, that's my idea of a great time.
Love that
To be
for
clear.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I bet there was also cocaine. I bet it was a great time.
Actually, there was a lot of, okay, like my 21st birthday party was a surprise. Well, it was supposed to be a surprise party, but my best friend told me about it. So I was calling people on the day of going, hey, you want to go to a birthday party? For who? Me. Surprise.
You kind of did that this year too, because we ended up doing that stream for your birthday in particular.
Right. Yeah, I tend to just
You
take
didn't
it
warn
over.
us at all.
Yeah, but I still remember when we would go out, like we used to hang out at this bar called the Rock and Roll Cafe. And as soon as you'd hit the door, guys would come at you, Leslie, do you got any eyeliner? I forgot my eyeliner. I mean, that's what we were. So
here for it.
And then I just stopped wearing, and back then, I literally would put on a face to go to the mailbox. Like that. Wow. like, you can't see this without stuff. And then I had my second kid at 31 and said, fuck it, I don't have time for this shit.
That also is a mood. Yeah. All right. Emma, I'm going to save you for last since you have your entire life is built around it. Vonté.
Yep.
So it's funny. I predominantly grew up in Southeast Georgia before growing up and going west. And my relationship with makeup was non-existent. But I grew up similar to Kennedy, not feeling attractive at all, atypical in sort of my identity in terms of a gender expression. And I went through that awkward phase of skincare, acne, teen acne, et cetera, which I didn't really have bad acne, but I was always terrified of it because I was so self-conscious about everything else. And I was one of those kids that I desperately needed to feel attractive, to feel worthy, to feel valued in some capacity. So I really started getting into skincare very early. And then as an artist, my favorite medium growing up was colored pencil. I loved to blend. I loved oil pastels. I loved charcoal drawings. And when I started to kind of just accept, my queerness, my girlfriends would always ask me, Vonté, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about this shade? What do you think about that? And they were like, Vonté, try to do my makeup, do this, do that. And that's kind of where it started. And then I love that expression, perform beauty, because I was also a performing artist. And being on stage teaches you the importance of makeup, the importance of light interaction, the importance of all of that stuff, cameras, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that really just went to a whole new level when I moved across the country to Los Angeles. And everyone has a relationship with makeup in Los Angeles. So that's kind of what happened. And then the rest of it was just kind of accepting it, owning it, and just, hey, this is me now. This is my life.
Awesome. Ada. I want to call you out a little bit because we were talking before the show and you were like, I'm not sure if I'm femme enough to be in this episode. And I was like, no, that's exactly why I want you in this episode.
Yeah.
So Ada.
Yeah, not always true. So I'm a trans woman or something. I have a gender. I think I left that on top of my car and it fell off when I drove away. Just kidding. I don't have a car. For me, makeup is just like in this bucket of knobs and dials that I have for pushing and pulling my experience or how I show up in the world to get whatever sort of gendered experience I'm looking for that day. Like my body brings something to the table, my tits bring something to the table, my face, my voice brings something to the table. And all of that results in how people treat me, how they interact with me, what they call me, how they gender me. And so makeup has been utilitarian in lots of ways in terms of, all right, do I want to dress a bit more streamlined and androgynous today? I should slap on some lipstick. Or do I feel like wearing a dress? Okay, well, maybe I don't need to wear a lipstick today or eyeshadow or whatever. Do I really want to go full femme for the experience I'm trying to create? There is an internal component. It's not all performance. I think that when I was first transitioning, I was definitely putting myself through like the school of womanhood to really like learn the ropes and also experience like how nice it can be to, like, I used to look like this, like a lot more femme, and now I look like this. I just feel like more of a dyke than anything. There's still an aspect of femininity to my gender, to how I feel inside, but just like some sort of dykey goblin who has been in quarantine forever and feels more comfortable in just like a green bomber jacket than a dress these days. And before I do streams like this, I always think like, should I put on makeup? And sometimes I put on lipstick and then I'm looking at myself and I'm like, no, that's not authentic. I should take it off. So I really don't know what's up. Maybe I'll come back to it again someday, but it really is just a thing I pull out of a toolkit when I need it for a purpose.
I definitely think that sort of approach of like, am I doing this because I want to be gendered a certain way, or am I doing this because I think I have to in order to be a girl, is very important, and we'll come back to that one.
Yeah, it's always a bit of both, and it's bidirectional.
Mm-hmm. All right, and Emma, you do pretty for a living. Let's talk about it.
So what do you want to know then?
Like, well, so let's talk about, I know the other day you and I were
because there's so much.
I know there's so much. We were talking about how you were like a cargo pants middle schooler. And so I think we should start there and figure out how you got away from that.
Yeah. I actually look back and that was like early high school, actually. So I had like this grown out, I got a perm, right? Like, and this is not my real, I mean, it is real and it is mine, but it's not like growing from my head. Um, but I had this grown out perm that I didn't know what to do with. I had no idea what to do with curly hair. I don't know why I got a perm. I thought this will be easier. No. And I hung out with this group of guys that lived in the neighborhood and like one or two girls, and like they were like skater dudes, right? So like they're always skateboarding around the neighborhood, and I couldn't skateboard at all. But like I was like, I don't know, I felt like I was like crushing on them, but like looking back, I think I kind of wanted to also be them. And so I started wearing like these like men's cargo shorts and like bought these boxy t-shirts basically to sort of like hide my like my shape, and like, but it was like to appear cool. Cool to who? Like I'm not really,
Well,
or
you were
you're more
trying
like
to-
chill.
Yeah, it sounds like you were trying to be cool in the way they were cool.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah.
was very similar to like my experience of like being a Hot Topic kid, right? Is I wanted to be like the musicians whose music I liked, but they were all men because the music industry is sexist. So like, so I wanted to, you know, fit in with this culture where really femininity was even more distinct, really, like because in sort of that scene at the time, it was like if you wear makeup, you're trying to be a cheerleader and you're trying to be like, you know, the exact culture we're rebelling against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of weirdly went back and forth. I did that for a minute, and then I just slowly started being a little bit more femme, or a lot more femme. Like it's only grown with time, but I wore a lot of makeup in high school for like, but like a lot of out there makeup. Like I had the blue lipstick or the blue eyeshadow. I would do like red lipstick, like, you know, out of the box stuff that the other kids were like, oh, like some of them were like, oh, that's cool, and some were like, oh my god, like she is like out there. Like I always felt like a weird like sort of bridge troll, like unsure of like whether or not I was attractive or I don't know. High school was rough. It was all a tough time. But but I don't know.
Yeah, I
Rachel,
got
you're
myself again. But now I think Rachel, we should get a shirt. Like we're about to launch merch, by the way. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
One of them should just be a shirt that says Rachel, you're muted. So
So I wanted to throw out there something just in general and then to Emma. So my experience also is not being able to find makeup that works on my skin tone. Good
just before
God.
you got here, we were actually talking about that for me because I am like a stealth Persian. Like I know I have like the blue eyes and read very white, but underneath all of that, I have like olive golden tones. And nobody makes makeup for me.
Yeah, well,
there's like one or two brands, but
yeah, there's like
sorry,
two.
go ahead.
Yeah.
no, I was just going to say what drives me crazy is when you go into a store and you'll see an ad display with somebody who looks like me, but then nothing on the shelf works for somebody who looks like me.
Yeah.
And then when you're in entertainment, and this is to you directly, Emma, please talk to your brethren and tell them to get makeup for Black people.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know. Like it is insane to me the number of times that I've gone, and like I had learning to do as I like grew as a makeup artist. Like I didn't like always inherently know like how to do makeup for Black women, right? Like it's not something that like was just like, oh, I just know this. Like I had to research. I had to do my homework. But the number of times where I've showed up to like a photo shoot or like a gig for, you know, a person of color, and they're like, oh, do I need to have my own foundation? Or like, because the last person I worked with, like, they didn't have my I was like, no. Like, I have the full spectrum and I can mix and match. And like, no, I have not yet been unable to match somebody with my foundation shades. And when I worked at Ulta,
that they have to like,
Yeah.
do I have my own stuff I bring along because no one else has it?
As a Black person, you do. You have to bring along your own makeup. You sometimes have to bring your own hair care products. And here's another one. Going to get your hair done at like at a salon, and then you ask the person, do you know how to do black hair? And when I say black hair, I don't mean the color, I mean African type hair. And you get someone who goes, yes, and then they destroy your hair because they don't know what to do with it. And then they charge you for it. The last time I got my hair cut, I got charged $60, and the woman destroyed my hair because she cut it wet.
Is there some like 3C, 4C certification? God. Like, let me see your papers.
Yeah, there really does. There needs to be like a 3C, 4C certification that you can.
There kind of does.
Yeah. I mean, because it completely, from what I understand,
you check their driver's license.
Yes.
Before you get your hair done.
So I didn't go to school. I'm like self-taught, but from what I understand, it varies so much between cosmetology schools as to what you learn and what like they're learning about hair and whose hair they're learning to be able to style and cut and color. So it apparently varies by the school, by the geographic location. From what I understand, like Avicii Tech, like where I'm at, like they do a good job of like incorporating like learning how to work with like a variety of hair types, but like it's not everywhere. Like, and people don't know, and people like don't make it a priority to know, which is so discouraging. Like, even just as a watcher, an onlooker.
That is such a great segue to another thing I actually wanted to talk about, which is specifically the way we talk about natural beauty and what that means and how that's changed, right? Because frankly, very little of my beauty, other than my bone structure, is natural. Like, I fry my face with chemicals to maintain youthful skin. You know, I put all kinds of balms and creams in my hair to make my curls extra pretty. You know, I do all of this stuff. I perm my eyelashes to make them more curly. Like, it's very much chemically altered, but it gives the appearance of natural beauty.
Rachel?
What?
That's a thing?
Yeah, you can perm your eyelashes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can grow it, you can perm it.
You can grow it, you can perm it. Yeah. I wanted to say, but one of the things that I have is that I'm white. And that instantly makes it a lot easier to be like considered attractive, right? Because we have a white supremacist society. And so often, you know, when people talk about beauty, there's this very narrow, racialized idea of what beauty means, right? Or, you know, if you are a Black woman and you have black hair, right? Like, are you going to straighten it? Are you going to wear it natural? Are you going to wear wigs? You know, to what extent are Black women, and it's a lot, pressured to perform whiteness in their beauty routine, right? And so I wanted to open up the floor. We have two beautiful Black souls here today. I'd like to hear from y'all about your experience of being Black and beautiful.
Well, I didn't know I was beautiful, first of all. Like, growing up.
Breaking news.
Yeah, no, seriously. I grew up in predominantly white neighborhoods. I still remember my kindergarten teacher ripping up my Christmas angels because I made one brown. And she said brown people didn't go to heaven. So, and then another thing that she did, and I don't know if you guys still did this in school, but when you do the picture of the silhouette and like someone drew your silhouette, well, because my bottom lip is so pronounced, mine got put first, and the teacher made fun of my silhouette and my bottom lip. So I have been self-conscious about my bottom lip my whole life. If you watch me on a stream, you'll watch my mouth moving. It's because I'm watching my mouth. The entire time I'm on a stream, I'm watching my mouth because I don't have any melanin on this part of my lip. and lipstick won't stay. Like it'll stay for like a few minutes, like maybe an hour, but after that, it always wears off right here. I am so self-conscious about that. It makes me crazy. And it's because of the things that people did and teased me about. Then add to now I'm an adult and I kind of don't give a shit. And so I decided I was going to go natural, but I can't go immediately natural because of the way my hair is structured and because I've been using relaxer for so long. So to let my hair grow out naturally before I got the braids, I was wearing wigs, and I was wearing natural looking wigs so that people would get used to what my hair will look like eventually. I'm currently in a lawsuit with my last employer because people were grabbing my hair all the time, and my bosses basically were like, deal with it.
Wow.
Among other things.
Yeah, that's so many different bad things, in fact.
Yeah.
And I know
Fuck.
I relate to watching your flaws in the camera, though. I can relate to that experience because like I'm always like, oh no, don't turn your head too far because the nose will show. Oh no! It's like, oh no, you look Persian, you look Jewish. Like, oh no, you have to hide it and try and look, like from the front only, so people don't realize you're this like horrible, like,
What's so stupid is I don't notice. I don't know about anybody else. I'm just going to speak for me. First of all, I've only seen you on camera. I didn't even know you had blue eyes. So like we worry about such weird shit. Like another thing I worry about, I have too much melanin in my gums. So my gums are brown. That freaks me out. My cheeks, when I smile, see that white? It's because I chew on my cheeks. I chew on my cheeks. I know that. So it's like all this weird shit.
No one notices but you.
No one's noticing but us.
Yeah, absolutely. Vonté, let's hear yours.
So again, I grew up with mostly in Southeast Georgia, where our attractiveness is informed by white supremacy. And we have to do a lot of decolonization of our perceptions of ourselves before we can really embrace our own beauty. And that didn't happen for me, not really, until college. And it took a close friend and kind of a photo experiment to really kind of wake me up out of that and realize and start doing the inner work necessary to really kind of embrace that. And really what it amounted to was them taking photos of me and them just saying like, look, Vonté, do you know what you look like? Do you really know? Do you really know? Because similar to Leslie, what was saying, we look in the mirror and we see all these flaws. We see all these things that we're taught to look at. We see all these things that we're taught to disapprove of. We see all these things that we have to change. And it's capitalized on. So, and that capitalization absolutely worked on me. But when they showed me these photos, when they said, look, this is what you look like, and they shot me in a way that accentuated my feminist. They shot me in a way that I was uncomfortable looking at. They shot me in a way that I was not given permission to look at myself as. And I felt guilty for even allowing somebody else to see me in a certain light. But I broke down into tears when they told me that. They shot me in the fullness of my African curves. They shot me in the fullness of my nose. They shot me in the fullness of my lip. They shot me in all these different ways. And it was a journey from there. I had already just started growing my hair out. I had the little, like the curly blonde fro, similar to one, there's an MTV VJ at the time that I forgot, that I loved their hair so much. And I grew my hair out, dyed it blonde, almost fried it, but dyed it. And I started locking my hair.
Yeah.
And since I did that, I started seeing myself in a different light. But the con side of that is that other people started to see me in a very fetishistic lens. It was suddenly, all of a sudden, my blackness became a means of tokenization. It was suddenly now it was this this erudite Vonté, this artsy Vonté. This Vonté was like I had to be collected all of a sudden. It was now
Right.
in being an artist navigating white spaces. It was all of a sudden my blackness became like this. Oh, this Vonté. Oh, they have. Oh, do you have this? Do you have that? I became like the fashionable black friend to have. I became the really on tally to, you know, these bourgeois women. Like it was.
Right.
And you know, similar to like you know, a lot of cis black women, I had to, in very many ways, learn how to strategically weaponize that to navigate my spaces. Sometimes I was taught I had to use that to my advantage. They want to collect me, okay, pay me. You know,
Yes.
it was so, and that has been like the dominant relationship of my adult life with my black beauty.
Yeah.
I can relate only along gender lines in the sense that trans women have a very complicated relationship with vanity. Like part of, you know, because of the way that feminine people are seen as vain because they dare appreciate their beauty, you also have these people who are learning to see themselves as beautiful for the first times in their lives. So what are they doing? They're dressing more femme, and they're also taking selfies. They're developing relationships with their own bodies through this parapersonal lens, like through the camera lens. And you could look at that from a very outside perspective and say, oh, you think you can just walk into womanhood. You think that femininity is like just dressing real nice and being vain. It's like, no, this is developing a relationship with a part of myself that like I'm getting finer every day. Why would I not want to celebrate that? And like really, there's a thing I make fun of in a loving way called the trans girl side smile, or if you look at a lot of selfies of trans feminine people, they're like, it's just sort of like hedging. It's like, I'm pretty, like, I'm prepared for someone to tell me I'm actually really ugly, but I think I'm pretty, but also I'm not so sure. And also I'm not as pretty as I want to be. And it just manifests in this like, huh? And yeah, again, like the further you go into the area you want to be, you also run into that tokenization, that fetishization. People don't want, you know, I couldn't go out and get a boyfriend right now looking like this unless he was on his way to becoming a girl, most likely. They want the really, really feminine women who don't make them think about the fact that they're trans, except for all the ways they want to think about the fact that they're trans. It's fucked up.
Yeah. I think that is actually one thing. When trans women transition, when they have in my life, when I've watched my, you know, female friends transition, there's always this moment for me where like we'll be interacting and they will be clocked as a girl and treated sexist for like the first time, where they first like really experience misogyny because somebody clocked them as a woman, right? And they come to me and they'll tell me the story or whatever, and I'll just be like, welcome to the club, you did it, you're one of us now. Because it's
we
like,
hate that, by the way.
Yeah, well, and to be clear, I'm not like, I don't say this, right? But there's this sort of like emotional response I have to it. I figured out you don't say this to people because it's kind of shitty.
Welcome to womanhood.
Yeah, but actually, I do think that there is something to be said for that being a defining aspect of womanhood. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're really a girl when you get treated like shit for being a girl.
The first time I got sexually harassed was also, it was a very like gendery sort of harassment. And it was the first time it happened. And I was amazed at how quickly I found myself slipping into the thought pattern of, well, could I really like, look what I'm wearing? I can't really, like, wait, holy shit. Like, this is not even a thing I've had ingrained in me from birth, but it's still like the first place my brain goes when I get treated like shit. Right. How can I blame myself for not making other people more comfortable?
Yep. And I think a lot of women's relationship to makeup is ultimately about making men more comfortable.
Absolutely.
You know.
And it's not just makeup, it's clothes. Like I have a rule. When I go out, you either get cleavage or you get legs. You don't get both.
Yeah, pick one.
One or the other. I'm not, the only time you'll ever see me like completely hooched out with like tits and ass is if I'm with Tony. But if I'm by myself, you get one or the other. You don't get both.
Yeah, absolutely. My behavior changes dramatically when I have a man around and I'm in public, especially in terms of like walking on the street, right?
Yeah.
Like I will ask my male or male presenting friends to walk with me if I'm walking back to my car, because I don't want to walk alone. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. I have been sexually harassed by a dude who it turned out was actually like known in the community for being mentally unwell. And he was in the middle of having an episode, but I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know this until after. So there's just this dude following me down the road, literally barking at me like a dog and saying he's going to fuck me in the bushes like a bitch. And I'm like terrified at this point, right? And it was 3:00 in the afternoon. And when I got back to work, because I was at work at the time, and I just walked to the corner store down the block to grab a soda or something. And when I got back to work, I'm like shaking and crying. And I remember the very first thing my boss said to me at the time was, well, you're just not allowed to walk alone anymore. Like, and that's the reaction you get, right? It's like, if you do not sort of take on this burden of other people's image of you, like, you are no longer safe.
I'm hearing this real tightrope here, like dress to make men comfortable, but not too comfortable.
Yeah, well, and
like,
that's like the
comfortable, not entitled.
Right, and that's like the Madonna whore complex in a nutshell, right? Yeah. But ultimately, that also really takes away from like the kind of beauty that we can play with, you know. And that's among the many things I hate about like the way capitalism destroys things. I hate the way capitalism has destroyed the play of makeup for so many people, because like it's art you do on your face. It's inherently cool. Like it should be for everybody. You know, everybody should be able to just put art on their face if they feel like it, because it's cool and they're expressing themselves and they're, you know, showing their authentic identity. And I wanted to bring it sort of back around to Emma here, because I know for Emma, this is something we've talked about, like self-care for you. Makeup is this really important self-care activity that you do. And it became so central to you that, you know, you started doing makeup professionally. And now, like, I've seen you do really gorgeous makeup on male models. And I wanted to sort of hear, like, from you what that experience is like, and sort of how it's different when you're playing with makeup for fun compared to when you are putting makeup on because you have to for social pressures.
Ooh. So Rachel and I go way, way back at this point. Like met her in college, right? And she knew me at a point in my life where I was performing like femininity because I felt like I had to. I was performing like makeup, full face. Like I had, like, especially in college, once college hit, like my second year of high school, like my second year of college, excuse me, I had really bad cystic acne. And like I ended up going on Accutane for it, and then like it came back later. But like it defined a lot of the ways that I felt insecure about myself and my presentation. And so I was always like, look on point, like makeup is as on point as I could get it at that point. I wasn't amazing at it at that point, but I was playing around, and like I was always had the full face of foundation. I remember, and Rachel, you may or may not remember this moment, but there was this one day when we went to Walmart and I didn't have any makeup on, and I was wearing like some of those, like, you know, those like little tiny cheerleading shorts, like they were like this ugly green color, and like these weird like galoshes, and I'm like, I look really like goofy and weird, and like I'm going to Walmart like without any of my normal preparatory like stuff. And that was a wild experience, because I did feel like I had to do the thing.
Yeah.
And I got a lot better with my skincare, and that's really helped a lot with my and also like I have fibromyalgia, and like for a while there I just didn't have the energy as much to do like everything all the time. So I got a lot more comfortable with like less and less, and now I can my skin is clear like for the most part now, so like I feel like I can walk around like sometimes without the makeup, but my face is a freaking billboard now. Right? So as much as possible, I do, like, even if I'm wearing a mask, like the whole face. I'm not just doing like here up. I don't know. But doing it for play, it can be like a grounding technique for me. I have real bad anxiety. And so sometimes just the act of like putting on a lipstick and feeling the lipstick go on and seeing the change in my presentation, it sometimes brings me back to me. So when I play around, it's a lot more about like, okay, I'm very aesthetically, like, I try to be aesthetically cohesive, right? So like the
Yeah.
purple matches the brows, and then the necklace also matches the hair, and then it's just like a whole, like it all has to tie in together, and that probably is a very like OCD sort of trait. But I don't do as much of that with professional makeup. What I like to focus on when I'm actually with a client, what do they want? What do they want to look like? How do they want to feel when they or when their face is made? And also, how do they want to feel like during? Like, I'm very much like, I want to ask you a bunch of questions about yourself and like get you like to start like opening up to me and making a very comfortable space for you to talk about like whatever, and just get that sense of togetherness and closeness and openness. And then I think through that, like, that's how the look sort of unfolds. You know, I'm looking at you. I'm not just like looking at your face and your features. That's obviously a huge important part, but I'm also listening and trying to figure out like, sorry, I may have lost the plot, but
it sounds like what you're trying to do with makeup is really like capture their personality and make it more visible. Stop me if I'm misunderstanding you, though.
I'm having
audio problems.
Hear everybody
Oh
now.
no.
Yeah, like
Oh,
this
no.
one keeps falling out of my ear. Tiny itty bitty ear problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I'm doing makeup on somebody else, it's definitely more about like their experience of the makeup. And like obviously I want the end result to be reflective of, I want them to look in the mirror and be like, wow, like you just enhanced my features, like you just like brought out what was already there. But sometimes, you know, depending on like whether it's a soft glam or like a natural look or something editorial or something really creative like the Corpse Bride thing that I did on TV.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a useful angle to sort of illuminate the way we interact with beauty, right? Like we are trying to communicate something about our personality as well. And I think about like some days if I'm wearing like bright red lips, right? Like that's a statement I'm making. That's definitely an attitude I'm presenting if I'm wearing bright red lips, you know? And it's such a fun thing to be able to do. And it's such an annoying thing to have to do.
Yes, it can be like, it adds a lot to your, I mean, depending on how much you do and like what you want to do, like it can add a lot of time to your like getting ready, like whole schedule, like adds a bunch of time to your morning routine or your getting ready to go out routine, like. And
then they make fun of you for taking too long to get ready because they're men and they don't fucking get it.
Oh yes. Or sometimes my girlfriends even are like, girl, does it need to be like that hard?
I would be that girlfriend because it takes me 10 minutes to put makeup on. Because I am so basic, it's ridiculous. I don't wear foundation. I haven't worn foundation in forever. So it literally takes me 10 minutes to put on makeup because I can't be bothered. And I'm also that person who forgets that I have makeup on, so I'm rubbing my eyes. And
That's my biggest problem. I do this. I'll spend like so long on this elaborate eye with like glitter eyeliner and stuff, and like doing like patterns and things, and then 4 minutes later I'll be like,
You just gotta like pat. You do if you're itchy, you just gotta like do the little pat or just
yeah. But when you're not using makeup, you forget that you have it on, so you just do what you do. Like, oh shit, okay.
I just don't wear eyeliner for that reason.
I feel that. I mean, like I wear makeup so much now that it's like instinctual to not with the face, but like I know
it doesn't look
most of
good
my
on
friends
me
who
anyway.
don't. Yeah,
which sort of brings me back to like what we were talking about earlier. Like I have products that work for my skin, but in terms of technique, it's really hard to find tutorials that like I can go out and find any number of beautiful cis women applying makeup. Not going to work for my face. Not going to be accentuating or de-accentuating the features I want. Drag queens have that covered. Love them. I'm not them. You got to find like the relatively small niche of like trans women doing makeup for trans women faces. I learned things from friends about how to put on eyeliner that I still haven't fully internalized, but I do get the sense that like I got to do it different than most people if I want to look good. There's different things I got to pay attention to, and I just never really. Again, I look like this now. I just don't care enough to do it, but maybe sometime in the future.
You said look good, as though you don't already.
Yes, right.
Well, say I don't like the way eyeliner makes me look. Is a better way to put it. I like the concept of it. I like how it looks on people. I think it could make me look good if I invested the requisite 100 hours into figuring that out. And then I just don't give a shit.
This is probably a good time to say I offer makeup lessons online, virtually, via video call.
I was not a paid Confederate here, but good to know.
No, we sure weren't. But you know what we're about to do? We are going to put up. No, we already have. We have at Emma Appropriate Beauty. So Emma, talk about your makeup. Have you worked with trans girls before?
I not yet. Not yet. I have done makeup on gay men and like some drag makeup and just like, you know, regular smoky eye, just like let's do makeup on a dude. But I have not like worked specifically with trans women. However, I've done a lot of work to really look at the like color theory and also like the structure of someone's face. And so if you tell me like what you want makeup to do for you, I can pretty much tell you like, okay, well then we should probably do this, or like this probably won't work for you, but like let's try something else.
There are universal principles at work, I'm sure.
Yeah, and there's you know, like a lot of it's okay. What's your facial structure? What's your, you know, your facial composition? Like, what are your eyes like deep set? Are your eyes like protruding? Or your eye, you know, like there's so many different variations.
Makeup's just moving light around. It's like, how do you want to move light around on your face?
Yes, it's very much that. Yeah, so
I'll say too, like my background is in like I said before, like originally in theater, and so like,
same.
When you were talking about like doing like makeup to play, like that's how I got started with makeup. And so by the time I was ready to really start doing my own makeup, I had already put every shade of everything on my face, you know? And I think that just doing some of that kind of stuff can really help, just like getting some different things and trying. Obviously, like it's hard to have access to absolutely everything, but just get like an eye palette that's like a bunch of basic colors and try them all. And, you know, and try some things that are a little different. Cause I think a lot of times, like definitely my first inclination when I was like, even with that experience, my first inclination when I was doing my own makeup was to do very basic stuff that doesn't work for my face at all. But then when I thought about it, I was like, well, I know it looks great on me. Like coppery colors look fantastic on me. And then I started buying like copper eyeliner and stuff like that. Suddenly I'm wearing that, and instead of this like goofy black eyeliner that makes me look like I'm in an emo band or something, I have this eyeliner that actually accentuates the way I look, you know? So I think just playing with like that stuff, a lot of people like approach makeup through this very kind of funnily lens of like, this is the way you're supposed to wear makeup. And
If you
unfortunately,
have oily skin, you must wear matte foundation. If you like, it's very formulaic.
Yeah, there's like a formula to it. And unfortunately, a lot of makeup stores, I will say, and like a lot of makeup companies don't do anything to help this whatsoever. Which is why like I love MAC and places like that where they have bizarre makeup all the time.
That's really a good point. You brought up like theater being the thing that like helped you really explore and figure out like the principles of makeup and how it works. It's the same thing with like any classically trained artist, like really the pencil or paper, all the different materials and working with pigment is the properties of the pigment itself. And we talk about the bone structure of the face. Well, these are classical principles of mathematics, proportions. And it's taught formulaically from the cosmetics industry from a feminine perspective. But when you're not cis femme, you got to apply some different principles. And they don't teach that. But it's fun for if you got your start with like Halloween makeup or costume special effects makeup, because then you get to use the pigment to create a mask, and then the makeup becomes the vehicle to step into a character, and then it just becomes fun. The chore of doing the makeup becomes the fun, the process of transforming into this character. And I think that is the thing that really kind of developed my fun with the makeup is doing that. And because like for me, like I gravitated to it primarily for skin care, I just got really sensitive to just the natural structure of the face itself. Because drag makeup is obviously very different, but special effects makeup is a lot of fun. So you do like the two together with like a natural beauty look, like light coverage, et cetera, with with
there's
like
definitely no guide though. Like
there's
again,
no
everybody's been
guide.
saying there's no guide. Like I'm 30 now. I'm finally really good at my makeup. Like it took this long.
I wish I'd come up as a Twinkie dude. I was just like a straight guy, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm 28 now. How do I?
I'm sorry, but I'm probably going to cancel myself. But I'm going to throw out some pet peeves about makeup and some trends that are going on right now. That please stop this shit right now.
I'm ready.
Stop drawing your eyebrows way up here.
Yes. Perpetual surprise.
And okay, I get the new trend in lashes, but when your eyelids look like they're trying to run away, that's too much. Too much.
If it looks like they're your eyelashes are waving for help.
Yes. And then this is the one that's gonna get me canceled. People are gonna be really pissed off with me about this one.
I'm ready.
This is for women in my generation and above. Okay, this is for Gen Xers. Anyone over the age of 40, and this is just my opinion. This is not an UNGIRL opinion. This is my personal opinion. Stop wearing fucking animal print. It doesn't make you look younger.
How else do they know I'm a cougar? How else do they know I'm a cougar?
Right? If you are plus size, though, that's like all you get. If you are older and like plus size, you get animal print.
Yeah, but if you're over 40, that's like okay, you want to look sexy? Cheetah girl. No, stop it.
But that's all they give. That's all you get. Like if you're a plus size woman of a certain age, like, and you're trying to shop within like that age bracket, I feel like there are more options now, but like I remember just like everything is leopard print and torrid for a while.
Yeah, that was such a thing. I do think that's important, especially, and this is like plus size girl probs. Which we can pull over for a sec and talk about plus size girls probs because they're important as well. There's like 3 stores that actually make cute clothing for fat girls. And they're all ridiculously expensive.
Cato.
And
Go to Cato's.
Cato's pretty good, but Cato also, like, Cato's
all right.
It's too old for me. Not to say that it's like, you know, oh, like,
I'm
oh,
sorry,
yeah,
I'm 150.
Yeah, that's okay, right? Like, I think age.
It's just where my mom shopped, right? Like my mom
made me
loves
feel better. That made me feel so much better, guys.
I'm sorry, Leslie. You're beautiful. You're so beautiful. You're ageless.
No, but like,
you know what? I like Cato's, and you have to look at Cato's.
You do. You
just
do.
look. You can't just like look at the rack. Cato's has some really good shit. You just have to hunt for it, and it's all cheap. And they have $2 shoes, so you can't go wrong with that.
You know, you're right. Like you're not wrong. Like I have gotten some cute stuff from Cato's. It's just not my first choice. Like I've got a very, very specific aesthetic. But
and I have no style at all.
I very much understand. I mean, that's part of it, right? Like, to what extent are any of our beauty choices really our own in a culture that is driven primarily by capital?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have no. Every time you see me on stream, I'm generally wearing a nightgown.
Hot.
I love that for you. I love that for us.
Yeah. All right, well, we got to get wrapped up. I would actually love to reconvene this and do like another beauty summit at some point, because this was great. We barely touched on like half of the things we could even begin to talk about, because beauty is so big and so complicated. It has been a great talk. Let's do it again. And everybody, let's give our plugs. Emma, you are the makeup artist. Let's talk about your plug one more time.
My plug. Wait, I'm new to this. What's my plug?
Oh, plug is like your website, your Facebook. Like, where can people find you?
USBC.
Okay.
People who saw this and were like, I really do need to get a lesson. Where can they buy that?
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Inappropriate Beauty. Like it's right there. I'm Inappropriate Beauty on Facebook also. I've got an email address, veryinappropriate@gmail.com. And if you contact me any of those ways, I'll probably give you my phone number and we can like text or call and do like a consultation if you want to do a lesson. I may just like give you information. Like sometimes I just do that, but like the consultation is free. And we'll just talk about like what you want to get out of like the session. Like what do you want to learn? It's not like a set, like, okay, we're going to go over eyeliner. We're going to go over this. Like if you don't give about eyeliner, like we don't have to talk about it. So it's all very much catered to what you want to get out of your experience with me.
Which we love. And we love that.
Yes.
Tailored beauty for unique individuals.
Yes, like because it's all about what you want it to do for you, which I think I've said like 3 times now, but anyway.
Worth repeating, Vonté.
Yeah. It's all about you. Like not about what I want you to look like. Like you don't have to look like me at the end of it. Like I just want you to look like the way you want to look.
Can we if we want to?
You totally can if you want to. If you wanna, I will tell you all the things. I will show you. Just I feel like I should mention when I do the makeup lessons via video, I start out with a bare face. Everybody starts out on the same exact level, and I go step by step through whatever you want to learn, and we'll go through the entire face making process together.
Awesome.
So you'll watch me do it, and then you'll do it, and like, we're all starting. You're not gonna like be, oh, I'm barefaced, and I'm like Glamazon, like we're all starting on the same playing field.
Good, yeah. I'm sure it makes it a lot easier to explain when you can like show somebody like, okay, here's my cheekbone. I'm doing this here. Yes. So, Vonté.
So you can follow me on Instagram at Renaissance. It's Vonté Abrams, VONTE ABRAMS. You can see some of my character concept art. I do commissions, and I'm also a senior designer with Darcy Interiors. You can track us down through my at Renaissance Insta, and you can follow me on Facebook as well at Vonté Abrams. You'll see some artsy humor stuff, some political commentary, some social commentary.
Yeah, Vonté and I met through Facebook and became friends because Vonté's posts are so good. They're so good. You're so good at posting. Speaking of being very good at posting, Ada.
You can find me here on pretty much every network like Twitter, Facebook, Insta, Twitch, TikTok. I'm slowly drifting into making more video content slowly. So follow me somewhere and you'll probably see it if it starts to come out. Otherwise, I'm just shit posting all day, every day.
Mm-hmm. Leslie.
You can find me on Twitter and Into the Abyss every Saturday at 8, unless we have a guest where we have to move. And then I've also got my book, Forgotten Tomorrow's Crazy Todays, which is available on Amazon in both paperback and Kindle.
Woo!
Cool.
Buy the book. And of course, everyone knows me because I'm unforgettable. I'm Rachel. If you would like to support me, but also support every other podcast on this network and every other show on this network, including Leslie's show, become a patron. Give us money. We like money. It's good. You can see it right there at the bottom right now as it scrolls by. Patreon.com/notsafe. If you do not have money, please watch us on YouTube because they'll give us money for you watching us. And we do like money to live and also buy makeup, but mostly to live. So follow us on YouTube or subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter or Facebook or wherever. We're everywhere too. Give us money, please. We are going to be, this is a fun and exciting announcement. We are going to be launching a line of merch soon, which is so exciting. I'm so excited about it. Our first line, we're going to have a shirt and a sweatshirt. And the sweatshirt's going to be like a Christmas themed one, and it's deep fried and it looks terrible. And it says capitalism is cringe on it.
I've seen the early designs. They look great.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. We will probably be posting those actually next week. We have some people that we're going to give freebies to because, influencers exist. We might do like a giveaway or something for folks who like and retweet and stuff like that. So we'll see what we do. It's going to be really exciting. The other shirt also says capitalism is cringe, and it just has like shapes on it in case you're, not into Christmas or anti-Christmas, because the shirt itself, I guess, is anti-Christmas. Anyway, whatever. Buy clothes from us. Become a patron. Be my best friend. I love you. This has been UNGIRL, presented by Not Safe for Wonks.
Thanks, Rachel. This was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. Nice to meet everybody.
Y'all are great.
Nice to meet you all.